I'm Joe Giglia, and this is our Insights edition where we talk about all things elk. And today on the show, we are here in Alce Toro Ranch in beautiful Colorado, and we have some great guests here today. This is the Elk Camp that's happening here. We have from the Bone Collector, Michael Waddell.
About everybody.
Owner of Alce Toro, one of the owners here. We have Eric Dunn, and super guide on the end over here, Chance Robbins.
That's right.
So guys, this is a great opportunity because, man, there's been just some great stories told here in this week. You know, this is day 5, right? We've had some of our hunters already come in and out, but you know, Michael, we want to start with your story and talk about some of that, because I think there's some things that have happened that Chance that was involved in, and basically everybody in this camp was involved in.
Yeah, I mean, it was from elk hunting lessons to biology lesson or anatomy lessons in elk to proving once again that I think that elk is the #1 toughest, most resilient animal, and also the #1 toughest animal, I think, to in fair chase conditions harvest with a bow and arrow. And it's a game of inches, but it's been fun. You know, my buddy Eric here, he become an owner in this ranch. He called me and he said, "Dude, Waddy, I got this is heaven. It's something I always want to do." And Eric's a Kansas guy, and so for him to have a chance to come out here and hunt, and he and I both have had to hunt the area, right down the road at the Vermejo Ranch. And so we both fell in love with not only elk hunting, but this area of elk hunting. And so, we both kind of come together hunting ducks and whitetail together. But I don't care if you're from Georgia, Mississippi, Kansas, if you live and you want to pick up a bow and arrow, you want to hunt an elk. That's like always a bucket list animal. So, yeah, thanks to Eric having me out here and really putting us all together so we can come out here and chase some big old wapiti.
There's actually a lot of connections here because Eric and I have a connection. He was somebody that I guided 2 years ago, Eric, on the Vermejo Park Ranch. And, I know Eric had hunted elk before, but we had such an epic experience then and developed a friendship. And I can remember Eric saying at that time, Joe, I've got to do this, man. So
yeah.
Here it is, and here we are. And, we have a Chance is a fellow New Mexican as well, over here guiding. And, Chance is the ranch manager, takes care of the Alce Toro, head guide and head everything, right, out here. And like Michael's going to tell you here in a little bit, is one heck of a tracker, because the story there, I just want to commend Chance on that, and people will learn about that here in a few minutes. But Eric is still waiting. We're actually getting ready to head out, y'all. We have a bull hit right now. Eric made a shot this morning. We're giving it time. We're going to go out and do our tracking. So this is kind of our in-between right there. And you kind of went through what he's going through right now, right?
Yeah, I mean, for sure. And we looked back, and the camera guy was with Eric too, and so it was made it a little tougher because you can't tell exactly, but based on where the blood is, it looks like a pretty good hit. But you never, I mean, he could have been dead 30 minutes after the shot, or a minute. However, these things are so tough. And yesterday, I mean, the bull I shot yesterday, Chance, an experienced elk hunter, myself, and the video we captured, we all like, hey, it looks good. Smoked him. We did decide to come back and have a cup of coffee and see if anybody's back with us to go celebrate. And that was 20 minutes after daylight, and we found the bull 20 minutes before dark. So that just goes to prove a couple inches here or there, and these elk can just tote it. And no doubt a mortal hit, but he took it for.
So this is Elk Camp. Here's your chance. Tell the story. Let everybody know the story that happened yesterday, how it unfolded.
It was crazy because we got here and we were wide open, and so the first couple days I went with Tom McMillan. So Chance was tied up, and so we wanted to get Tom a good bull with a bow, and we got on some bulls, and so really that morning was the first morning we really had a chance to get after it hard. Chance and I, and we, it's funny, we was going everywhere, you know, running to the deep dark shadows. So another lesson you learn in elk camp, you know, whether you're in a tent camp or in a lodge, you feel like you got to get to the deepest, darkest corners of the ranch. And every time we was coming in, like ding, 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 was elk bugling. They're all over. We're running them out of the road, getting back to the lodge. And so Chance said, maybe we should just try hunting right here at the lodge. And literally we went a quarter mile from the lodge and right off the bat get a bull bugling, and Chance calls him right in. He's going to be giving me a chip shot, 30-yard shot, and he's running by, and the camera guy, Jacob Keel, I call his name just so we know he scuffed a pine cone. and man, when he scuffed his pine cone, it almost, you would have thought the bull winded us. But however, if he'd have winded us, I think he just kept running. But he just runs out there and he stops, and I thought, man, he's out of range. Well, I ranged him, he's 70 yards. And I've never claimed to be one of those Olympic long range, you know, but I also have the theory, if you're going to put a pin on your bow and practice with it, be ready to use it in real situations. So I had a 7-yard pin, and I pulled up, took my time, and shot, and looked like made a perfect shot. And so...
especially on video.
Yeah,
on video.
On video. We had it on video. So we looked at it 1,000 times. Chance come out, looked at the shot, and we felt good with it. And so what ended up to be a perfect shot ended up to be a not so perfect shot. And so we finally... went to track the bull, and he went to straight up basically a mountain and went right up, and we lost blood. We came back and kind of regrouped. Chance and Arlen and some of the other guys and Robert, they went back out, and I come back and we put the footage on the computer screen and really slow mode and really looked at it. In the meantime, I didn't know exactly what Chance was up to, if he went back to pick up his little boy or whatever. Well, he was still out on the mountain the whole time, him and Arlen and Robert, I think. And just picking up little bits of blood. And ended up, I hit the bull just a little low, and he had just a slight quarter. And so we finally, you and I was sitting there, we was looking,
right.
But when they were still looking, we was looking and said, look, we at least got liver.
Yeah.
I mean, the way it was. And it sounds crazy because it's right tight behind the shoulder. We realized the bull was, you know, angling just a little bit. And anyway, just long story short, we finally get over to Chance later in the afternoon, and they had found blood, and that bull ended up going, at that point, at least 1.5 miles.
So to interject there, because, man, this, you know, when we tell a story like this, and we say, okay, in the morning we shot it, we lost blood, we find blood. What most people, and what you guys don't understand was, anybody who's done this, that's been out there in the heat of the day, and you're looking through pine needles, you're looking for pin drops, and you find nothing. And track, Chance, what was the problem with the track up there?
There were so many elk in the area, you couldn't follow a track for the bull.
Right.
And all we had to go off was blood, and we lost blood probably, I'd say, 150 yards from where we shot him. We lost blood, and we looked for everybody who was up there, the whole crew, for 3 hours for that bull, and we just couldn't pull any more blood from the last blood. And we gritted and gritted and gritted and looked, and just couldn't ever pick nothing up.
Yeah, because it's like 80-some degrees out there.
Oh yeah, it's hot.
And once the blood was lost, and people have checked, gritted, you know, I know that you yourself, you know, you took off there and you were looking for different areas. Mm-hmm. Chance, you know, had the pack on and covered 2 different canyons. And if you guys have never been in the canyons of northern New Mexico, southern Colorado, all of Colorado, going up and down into these things where you know, you got verticals going up, going down. Buddy, I mean, at that point, you were pretty spent. Mm-hmm. And it's only, I mean, it's probably hitting only till like 1 o'clock in the afternoon. And we're talking about, you know, guys that are up there with you, putting in so much time, gritting back and forth, and forth, not finding blood, total loss of blood. And really, in most people's minds, nobody likes to say it, but you figure your next best bet's going to be birds, basically.
Oh yeah.
Yep.
No doubt.
Sure. Right?
No doubt. Now, I'd kind of got to that point after about lunch, because we waited about 2.5, 3 hours before we went and looked, and we wouldn't wait that long. We thought we made a perfect shot. We come back. Eric's wife was here at the lodge, my wife, and Tom McMillan's wife. And so I figured they wasn't back yet, so I thought, well, let's go back and get the girls. Maybe they'll want to go out and be an easy track job. Honestly, I mean, that's how cocky we were. We were so confident. Well, they were all still asleep, so we sat here and made a pot of coffee and then kill some time. But yeah, Chance and those guys found blood, and I'm telling you right now, I've been to Africa, Botswana, all these countries, and I've seen some amazing trackers. These guys found blood. I mean, I was blown away. I mean, it was amazing that it turned into the way it did. And we finally get up there, and this bull had circled, done everywhere, up and down. Chance had found blood in places to where it looked like or it appeared the bull was actually in a herd of cows and still trying to cut them around like a cutting horse. And even though he obviously was sick, and so we had all this video evidence. We were dumbfounded, and we were getting kind of pessimistic. And so I went back out, and it was funny. I thought, well, let me get the girls once again out of the house. I took Tom McMillan's wife, Jackie, my wife. We took Tom's little boy. They were out hunting. Eric, and of course, you were out hunting. So I mainly just said this. I don't know if we'll find him, but it'll be a good adventure, you know, and get to see some of this country back in here and explore. And so they had lost blood, and they found it again. And I be John Brown. We picked up the blood, and the elk at this point had got out of the herd. In other words, so there was elk sign everywhere.
Right.
And all of a sudden, he ventured off, and we could see his track, and he got out of the mix of a bunch of elk. And he was kind of out in the canyon, didn't have a lot of sign. And man, I learned this a long time ago. When you're tracking a bull, I don't care if you thought you double lunged them. Always, if you're rifle hunting, don't leave your rifle truck. Bring it with you. If you're bow hunting,
right,
bring your bow with you. The way I look at it, if you just never know. And sure enough, I'm glad I did, because we went probably another half a mile from the time that I joined back up with Chance in Arlen, and sure enough, we're going. And here's a story of me too. I'm the worst. There ain't a human being that's a worse blood tracker than me. I'm red-green colorblind, so it looks like tomato gravy. Period. I don't see nothing. I mean, I'm just like. So I usually just naturally just kind of, wing the trackers and kind of looking ahead with my binoculars and kind of getting on high and always just trying to look ahead and see if I can see anything or something getting up. And that's about the best assistance I can give a good tracker, And so literally I was doing that, and those guys were steady on blood looking down. And about that time, I'm like, whoa, stop. And I looked, and my bull was standing up in this thick brush. And I had my bow, and I was able to get another shot on him. So how long had that been? I mean, we were 20 or 30 minutes after legal shooting light. I think it was about 10 till 7 when we shot, 20 till 7 maybe. And it was literally right at dark when I got that final shot.
Yeah, you're talking about an animal that had a lethal shot on him. And this is so cool, because this is a testament to a lot of things. Number one, perseverance, man.
Yep.
Chance, the way you grinded it out, bud, was I couldn't be more proud as a fellow hunter because of that perseverance that you put into that. And, you're talking about, you're a guide, right? And you took that as if that was your bull.
Oh, yeah.
Right, exactly.
You honored that as if it was your bull, which was so cool. And you're talking about 12 hours as the crow flies, almost a mile.
Yeah, as the crow flies, it was almost exactly 1 mile as a crow flies. And the bull, we figured, at least walked on his feet minimum 2.5 miles.
Right.
I marked it on my phone this morning, mapped it out where he went, and it walked 2.6 miles.
It'd blow your mind.
2.6 miles.
And confirmation was right. There's no doubt that this era, I got maybe a little bit of the back of one lung, and a little bit, not a direct hit, a slice of the liver. So mortally wounded. We were talking yesterday, any elk guide, anybody, you shoot a lot of animals, whitetail, anything, it's almost like, okay, if it's a paunch shot, we know. Guaranteed leave overnight. A liver shot, 6 to 8 hours. Most of the time they're stone dead. Lung shot, 60 seconds, and the elk's got to live typically if you punch both lungs. Can he run a long way in 60 seconds? If you don't believe me, watch the elk run in 60 seconds. So he can get away. You have to put a tracking job even on double lung. Same with a heart shot. So we figured, I figured in my mind that bull's not going to live past 6-7 hours. Well, he proved us wrong on that. And so it just shows you that, there's confirmed cases of bulls truly living with one lung being took out. So that just shows you not only just living, but thriving and getting things together and still going back out and running these hills and hollers. It's crazy.
Yeah, because Chance, just from the time you guys shot it till noon, that's 6 hours. And nobody would have said that it wasn't given its due diligence.
Right.
Oh, yeah.
And as far as that tracking job went. And I think to me this is so important because I think a lot of times it only takes one bad apple to give people a bad name, right? And I think a lot of times people talk about how hunters are unforgiving and there's wanton waste and stuff like that. This is a perfect example of how we do respect the animal, how we do work for that, how we do persevere, how we do grind and put in the extra mile, because this was way over the extra mile.
Way over the extra mile. And the thing about hunters too, this is Eric's ranch.
Right.
So it's not a necessarily outfitted thing. So anytime you go, you have rules and regulations. And I think we all come into this hunt, even though we was hunting friends' ranch, that if we draw blood, that's going to be our bull. Because obviously we're on a management. Eric wants this thing to be good. The other owners that's involved, they want it to be good. However, when it gets down to it, it's friends. So Eric could hit 3 or 4 bulls and still go after him and look. But that bull was such a trophy to me and the experience, and same with Chance. And so that yesterday was one of the most phenomenal, most persevered tracking jobs I've ever been part of. And I've hunted a lot of countries and a lot of places and shot whitetails, mule deer, but there ain't no doubt. I told Chance, I said, you guys did good, and the good Lord had a hand in this. I said, man, we weren't supposed to find this bull, but we did. And so it was really cool, and it was kind of neat. We got a group shot. He's got his little 2-year-old, 3-year-old boy out there. Gatlin, my wife, Jackie, I laughed. Jackie had on, we got on all these big, nice Crispies and Mendel boots and Kennetreks. Look, they go up there. She got on some. She got on some Chuck Taylor. No, they ain't even name brand. Chuck Nailers, I told her. And didn't even have no laces in it. My wife had on some kind of rubber boots with some kind of little pick. They ain't even laced up. Looked like Kanye West boots or something. And we up there tracking around, and so they were all with us when we found it. His wife come up, Addison. So it was really cool. And all we got to do now to conclude this story, we got to go out and find Eric's, which I feel pretty good about, to be honest with you. I feel better about Eric's hit than in the end as I was going back up the mountain on mine. So,
Yep.
Yeah, and we're going to get to your bull here in a second, Eric, but I just want to, give you a chance here because as one of the owners of this ranch, and and even though you're there, we're all here as friends, right? And you're here as a fellow hunter. What did that mean to you yesterday? I mean, you had to go through a few emotions too. I mean, sure. Because when that bull was first hit and it wasn't found after so much time and everything. So what did yesterday and that experience mean to you?
Well, honestly, I was surprised looking at the video. I mean, all of us. I mean, I've seen the video and it looked like a great shot. So when things started happening, one thing I learned how tough these bulls are. It's crazy, and it's one of the toughest animals out there. But secondly, when Chance got on it and started doing the things he was doing, I tell you, I put my pants on the same way everyone else does, and I was lucky in life, and I had some good businesses, which allowed me to purchase a place like this. But where I'm most successful at places like this is surrounding myself with good people. We know Chance has this ability. He talked about friends coming in. The reason why I wanted these guys to come in, we've been doing this for a long time. We've been doing it at my ranch. We've been doing it at Tom McMillan's ranch. We really cherish the animal. We love the ground they're on. And when we come in here and do things, we try to go the extra mile. Michael's a public celebrity when it comes to hunting. And I will promise you, the reason why him and I run together is because we do things right every time. And we love it, and we come back to it. And hell, the only thing I don't like about this is Elk Camp's almost over.
I know it.
Well, but when I came in, and you gave me, you told me who was going to be in camp. Well, number one, I don't get the Sportsman Channel or the Outdoorsman Channel and stuff like that. So when I came in, what I saw was guys that like to hunt together, the camaraderie, and the fun you guys have being around each other in camp. And
that's the biggest compliment you give. And I can say a lot about Eric. I could go on and on as far as just selfless. And Eric's right. We've all been blessed. I mean, each and every one of us out here and hunting. But Eric's obviously had some successful business, and he's been able to put together some beautiful tracts of lands, even in Kansas. I met Eric I had a piece of land, and Eric called me one day and said, "Hey, I was interested in buying that piece of land." And so we got to talking, and I realized right away. I said, "Well, Eric, to be honest with you," I said, "I'm not out there much, but I really enjoy hunting the place." He said, "Well, that's easy." He said, "I'll buy it and you can come still hunt. I'd like you to come hunt with me every year." And I'm like, "This got to be too good to be true. What's this guy's talking about?" I said, "Well, at least let me, at least." He said, "No, Michael," he said, and his exact words, he said, "I would value your friendship and just us having a good time together more than I would any of your money." And I like, "Man, that can't be right." And so, sure enough, we go out there and just like Eric said, we strike a friendship. And so, his whole Hooray Ranch, which kind of spills right over here into the Colorado ranches, man, friends and family have a good time, laugh, cut up, and it's so cool, Tom. It's almost like everybody's pulling for each other. And to be honest with you, I'd be in a situation, if I'd made the investment, it's hard not to be selfish and say, "Well, I'm going to this best spot or this spot." But we're here and just everybody's getting after it, and it's like everybody's rooting for each other. And so that's unique. And for me, that's what's lost in hunting these days. It's a very macho man sport. You got to be pretty tough, to be honest with you, to track around these mountains. I'm not saying it ain't a tough sport. It is. But just the laughing, the cutting up, the kids in camp and throwing the ball with them and laughing, cutting up every night. We've had a big fire pit. We've had us a cold adult beverage in there. Not over serving, but just laughing, cutting up. But if we want to, I mean, we could in the middle of nowhere. Sure. But we're just having a good time. And at the end of it, there's a lot of the value is in the time we spent, and we'll have this memory forever. I mean, Chance and I, honestly, God, we was hugging. We hugged to the point to where you'd have thought we was a modern day couple. I mean, after we shot this bull, I mean, we hugged. I laughed at the video. I hugged him, and then he come and hugged me again. I went back and hugged him again. And I've only known Chance for 2 days, and that's what hunting does. And together, I didn't get the bull. We got that bull, and we tricked him and we shot him. Jacob, the camera guy, he was happy, and so. I don't know. I can't say enough about that part of it. If I'd have did it all by myself and been the same bull or even way bigger bull, in the story, I just say, if you don't experience it like this, there's a lot of men I know that are successful hunters that are sitting around with no friends in a dusty, big, lonely trophy room. And if you don't put your investment into building relationships with friends and fellow hunters, you just really making your investment in trying to collect these trophies for the wrong reason. And so I've been a blessed man. I've hunted places that I never thought I'd even get a chance to go drive in the gate. And but the animals certainly mean something to me. But the how I spent it and who I got it with, those memories mean more than the animals for sure. So that's my trophies. And that's what Eric's kind of hitting on, and that's what we've got in Kansas. That's what we got out here. That's what the Barry family's about. That's really, you can see what runs in you, and I think that is the number one thing we can use to market hunting, whether it be elk hunting, turkey hunting, or throwing rocks at pigeons. I don't care if it's fun. It's fun.
That's the main thing I want people to hear, is that it doesn't matter where you come from. I mean, we're all from different places. All of us from different places. It doesn't matter your backgrounds and things like that. It's really about how you share and people share together those memories. At the most basic thing, is having that camaraderie, because when your bull was down, that hillside was full of people.
It was full of people. It was flattering to see the effort that had went into a bull I shot. And they wanted to find it, because one is they wanted to give respect to the bull, but they wanted to find that bull. They wanted to be able to help, and so that it was really cool. That's one reason I got that group shot on my phone. It'll blow your mind. It's the amount of people will swear we shot in a 5-acre enclosure in Missouri, right? But we really were in Colorado in the wild. So
no, that's awesome, and that's what's so cool. Like when you talk about the right reasons of doing this, when you spend time. That's like Eric and I. We've spent a lot of time together in the hills, in trucks, in traveling, sitting by water holes. You really get to know people.
Oh, yeah.
The conversations that you have, and you find out what each person is like and how you mesh. And that's what's so cool. And I bet now, just from it's not the Chance as a guide that impressed you.
Oh, yeah.
It was the effort, the work, and the respect you now have for this young man because of what he did out there, and well deserved, man, that respect.
Well, what you see when you go past it, this is it. And Eric and Chance are two examples of that.
Right.
So if you look on the surface, you'll say, you know, I ain't spent 5 minutes with Chance. And like, this kid can hunt. And he's a good elk hunter, good caller. I got my start competition turkey calling, so I got decent tone ears, and I'm like, yeah, Chance ain't afraid. He'll definitely work a bull. He'll call. He'll listen to his bugling. You see the way he moved around, just his thought, you know, and now I'm a little older, and so I'm looking at this young elk hunter and say, yep, there ain't no doubt this cat's got going on. And so that was easy to see. But you're right, at the end of it, there was a lot of good elk hunters, but to see his perseverance and out there all day, he stopped one time for one bottle of water and literally just grinded, and so that impressed me. Same with Eric. You look on the surface, like, man, it's a beautiful ranch, man, beautiful house, but who opens up their doors at the level of what he does every day? You know, I sit here and watch the news now, and it's, you know, they're talking about whether it's the border or some of these people this you know, made money or done stuff. I mean, the generosity and what he's doing and sharing a lot of these opportunities with, you know, with me and my family, and so many. I mean, you could go around, you know, Kingman, Kansas, and hear that story on, and then you start realizing why Eric's had success. Mm-hmm. It's because you give back. You're pushing, but you're giving, and you're pushing, and you're working, and good things come to good people. And same with Chance. And so that's what you find. And at the end of it, for what I've learned, and I try not to judge folks, but I have found if you're a diehard hunter that respects animals, I can about judge you and say, that's going to be a good man, that's going to be a good woman. Don't mean we perfect. Look, Lord, we all sinners and make dumb mistakes, but let me tell you something. At the end of the day, know where your heart is. And so to be in camp with a bunch of people like that, shoot, man, world comes to the end, we'll fight our way through it. I mean, whatever happens,
yes, sir.
You know, good assets to
you know somebody has your back, you know.
That's right.
And you know, Tom's not here right now. We're actually, I'm going to connect up with Tom later on. But you know, I think it's really cool because a lot of people see you guys from the outside in. You know, they get the edited version of y'all.
Yeah, that's right.
You know what I'm saying? And you know, Tom has left the hunt, did not get an animal. But you talked to Tom, and I talked to him just before he left, and I have incredible respect for that man because it's not about the kill with him. It's about the hunt.
Yep.
He told me, he said, when he left, he said, it's the best hunt I've ever had in my life this morning.
That's what he told me. That's what he said too.
Yep.
That's what he said this morning. Yep.
Yeah. You know, he came in, and, you know, get this, when we're walking out, the guides are walking out to meet each other, and Chance goes thumbs up, thumbs down, right? And Robert, the guy, gets out of the truck and he goes thumbs up like this. Well, most people see that and they think, oh, there's a bull down on the ground. And they got out, they had smiles on their face, and we're like, oh, you got a bull down? No, And then Tom gets out, but I had the best hunt of my life this morning.
Oh, yeah. No,
you know, the experience of those bulls screaming and in the rut and working back and forth and having a son.
That's right.
Yeah.
And Tom probably could have stayed more, but his probation officer just kept calling.
Exactly.
His ankle bracelet was shot.
Back to Kansas. Yeah.
No, but it is. Tom's a good guy, and Eric's known. Actually, Tom introduced me to Eric to me, and so I knew that area where Eric is from through Tom. And you know, I mean, so many celebrities hunt that area from, you know, Blake Shelton, a lot of different people come through there, and it's just become probably the mecca of whitetails there in Kansas. And so it's funny, you know, just a small group of friends, and it's really cool. And what's been fun about it too is any of our little successes and any things we have, it's almost like we guaranteed got a ticket for each other, you know.
Right. I
remember Eric calling and said, man, I'm trying to put it together. If I do, you better get your butt and gear and come with me. I said, you ain't got to twist my arm. I mean, this was like I think it was last October. And I said, dude, you know, you ain't got to twist my arm too hard, and vice versa. If every once in a while there'll be something come up, and my wife and I have, and we call them, you know, Eric and Wendy, like, hey, yeah, man, y'all should come check this out with us. So, and Tom and Jackie the same way, and vice versa. And so, you know, it's just fun to have, like I said, at the end of it, it's elk hunt, but it's just making memories. You know, it really is.
You know, when Eric asked me to come out and guide out here, and then he said, well, there's going to be a camera crew and this and that. A lot of times when you think about that, you just think, okay, it's a show thing. It's all about the show. And I found out just the opposite when I got here. And I want you to understand my viewpoint, because I like to watch things. And again, I try not to judge, but you learn about people and the salt that makes them up real quick, right? And when I came out here, I found it wasn't about the show. You know, you got some incredible cameramen.
They're good guys.
Those guys really love, you know, what they do and trying to capture it, but they understand that the hunt is first.
Yeah.
You know, and their job is
to capture everything.
Yeah, to try to capture everything and make that happen. And when I got here, it wasn't about shows being filmed. Again, it was about a hunt, and that was absolutely cool. So, Eric, we've had some days. You know, we've had some encounters that have just been incredible. We've had bulls surrounding you, bulls trying to, you've had bulls that you've passed that, you know, were just feet away from you. You know, we've had mornings, bulls screaming in our face. I mean, you'd come out and go, that was a blast, you know, each time.
Yeah.
And then,
good week.
And then this morning.
Yeah. Great week. We actually, I felt so good about this ranch. This is my first year hunting it. And man, we passed a lot of bulls that some people wouldn't pass, you know, that we hope we're going to be here next year. And again, had a bull yesterday 10 feet away screaming, had to take one more step, and, you know, hunt could have been.
At 16 yards?
Yeah, it was 16 yards. Yeah, 16 yards. And that was a great day. Last night, a little slow. This morning we got up, kind of drove around, looked for some bugles, finally found some, went to it. 10 minutes later, we had a bull shot. It was incredible. It was right in my face. It was our camera guy, Ryan. He'd never seen an elk before he got here. He's third stringer, isn't he, Michael?
He's a third
stringer. And, he got to see something that most people in their lifetime will never see. All week. Yeah.
Oh, he was an elk magnet, too.
Yeah.
They would come to him every time.
Oh, my God.
No matter where he got.
Yeah.
It was kind of funny because Eric, that's another thing about Eric don't really want the limelight of a show. So I have, over the years in Kansas, I've like, Eric, I want to get you on video. And Eric will run from it. He's always hiding in the shadows. Of course, he's full of life. And so I can never hem him down and, like, you know, get the camera on him or, you know, and so I realized that Eric's like, look, I made this investment. I worked my butt off. I ain't going to let a TV show stand in my way of me whacking a deer or an elk. You know, I'll try Waddell. We'll try to get some footage. You know, come on. Y'all do that. I'm here to have fun. So I told Ryan, I said, look, Ryan, you know, you're in shape. You can do this. You're social media. I said, you know, you can grab some stuff with Eric and, you know, maybe some cool stuff for Hooray in the ranch. And I said, but look, you just capture what you can. I'm telling you, I know Eric Dunn. Eric's going to he's just going to whack. When he feels the urge in the right situation, he's going to do it because he's not a hired television host. And so it was a perfect mix. Ryan was learning. And I said, like, just don't spook nothing and stay out of the way and try to get some good stuff. And so, and that's the first thing he said this morning. He said, hey, boss, I think I got some footage, but I couldn't see the elk. And I said, you couldn't see the elk? And he said, well, I could see him, but I couldn't focus on. So anyway, it was the camera. He couldn't grab the focus. So he'll get picked on a lot by the other camera guys. I promise you.
But I tell you, if those elk were dogs and we hung a pork chop around his neck, man, because they were after Ryan. I mean, he had elk around him within
everywhere.
Feet.
Yeah. So he could easily field a tag.
Oh, yeah. That bull yesterday, he could have got it.
That's crazy.
Need to take 2 steps for me, but not for him.
That's nuts. That's the way it goes over
He
there.
actually had a bull came in right behind him. I mean, he's got a tree at his back. The bull is on the other side of the tree. Mm-hmm. And, I kept waiting for him to hit the scent line and stuff like that. And it got a little crazy. And we had a big bull coming into Eric. And so we ended up with 5 bulls in the area and things flaring. And, it just didn't work out that way. But what an experience. I mean, these guys were
good
smiling.
footage of that.
Yeah, I saw some of his footage. He got some really good stuff.
Yeah.
Even that bull he shot today got some. You can tell this is pretty good footage. It's just he was trying to rack his focus and get on him good through that brush. But
I'm not sure. you know, he was really worried about the footage and stuff like that. He wants always to do a good job. And that's what I've noticed about everybody at this camp. And I think that's a common theme in most elk camps, is that people want to do their best. And when they don't, you know, that's why you don't sleep well at night when you're waiting to go track an animal or something like that. Or as a guide, you're wanting to put people on it because it's that spirit you have inside of you. And I, you know, Ryan, I think now will be out hunting an elk before.
Oh, that's
you know
all he's
it,
talked
man.
about. He's into fishing, and you know, he likes duck hunting and stuff like that.
Right.
And you wouldn't know it. He's a professional wakeboarder. He can rip it like it'll blow your mind. But that is the case, man. You know, when everybody's just trying to do their best. And when you bow hunting elk, let me tell you something. You can have the best dinner and laugh and be so excited about the morning, and then have an elk working and come in, and based on the shot or experience, you can go from a hero to a zero like
Instantly.
that. Bow hunting elk will humble you and just make you mad. And actually, I mean, I've had it where it's like a death in the family. You know, where I've had a couple. I mean, not just. I have to, you know, like, all right, Waddy, get up. This you acting childish, but you want, your desire to get one is so enormous, and then you screw up or make a bad shot or miss, and you think, why in the world am I even doing this? This is crazy. I mean, this is crazy. I could go home and have more fun watching Smokey and the Bandit eating leftover chili. You know what I mean? It's like, what am I doing? But then when you find it and things work right, you just, you know, it's just an unbelievable feeling. So.
I've had some people say that for them it's become a life-changing experience because it's so demanding, you know. I had, when I hunted with Eric 2 years ago, I've actually got to see the change in him and how he was in these mountains or has been these last few days. I mean, and you know, you were telling me that you've had a personal trainer come in and been working your butt off and lost a lot of weight just so that you could get ready for this hunt and get ready for these mountains. Man, you've done great.
Thank you. Feel better.
Yeah. But I can tell you this, I don't care what kind of shape you're in. It's about day 3 or day 4. You know, we were out here in the morning, each morning we all get together. Boy, that first day, it's like, everyone's all happy.
Yeah.
And day 4, it's like
Silence. Who wants a granola bar?
You're leaving the bananas on the table.
Yeah, everybody. You're right. Everybody's tired and beat, and I was getting. I didn't have much pep in my step, but yet this morning I was all good. I had that bull, and we found him. I'm like, hey, everybody, hey, you know what's up? What's up? You know?
well, you had a
Like,
chance.
shut
to
up,
speak
Waddy.
in.
Just shut up. Yeah, exactly. But anyway, it's been a great week, man. It's been just awesome, and like I said, elk hunting's it's the best. It's the biggest challenge and one of the most rewarding trophies you can get for sure. And then I just found out T-Bone got his first elk today.
Did he really? No
And
way.
he actually got him running a gun and walking in Utah.
No way.
He cried, man. He's crying like a baby.
Are you
Awesome.
serious?
Yep, he was
Good
so happy because T-Bone don't like breaking a sweat. And elk will require you to break a sweat. So he
Yes, they
started off. He was in his mind. He was going to be sitting in a ground blind hunting water holes, and in Utah you can legally put out alfalfa bales and mineral, and so that was going to be a perfect opportunity for T-Bone. But what he didn't know, we'd already had it lined up where he was going to be walking. You know, and so I said, look, make sure, you know, don't kill him, but he can go a mile a day.
Yeah.
He's a big guy. He can go a mile.
Yeah.
You know, if everybody else goes 7 miles, T-Bone, you can go a mile. We didn't tell him that, so we tricked him. So he got out of the blind, and they called one in, just a little old 5-by, it looks like. But T-Bone can shoot lights out, and so he smoked him, and he sent me again. It looked like the modern day lover deal. I love you, Waddy. I can't believe this, man. Just love you, Nick. Love you. I told him Eric wouldn't tell Eric I love him. You know how it goes.
That's awesome.
He loves everybody
He
today.
does.
So.
That's neat.
So, for people out there that are listening, I mean, I don't care how long you've been hunting elk, you always learn something. And there's a lot of people that are getting ready to find out some of these lessons. What are some of the things that you're still learning sometimes that, and lessons that you've learned that you think people out there that plan on elk hunting ought to?
Well, the biggest thing I would say, if you look at the population of hunters, is whitetail hunters. If you come with a whitetail mentality, you're not gonna be aggressive enough. You're gonna set up in the brush too thick. You're gonna give the elk. I say too much credit. I shouldn't say that, because there's certain aspects about the elk that are superior to a whitetail. But, you know, growing up in the South, growing up in the Midwest, I mean, a whitetail just has an uncanny ability to pick out something almost like an antelope and know something ain't right. So obviously you got to hide. You know, that's where camouflage was invented, hunting turkey and deer. And so elk, you can get away with more. You can be a little bit more aggressive, and it's more of for me, it's more of an approach of an aggressive turkey hunter if those people have done that. So elk are intimidating, and so I think the number one thing, people freeze up a lot elk hunting, either in trying to stay hid or in trying to adjust an angle when they see that elk coming, and maybe you got somebody like you or Chance working a bull to a call to be able to realize that this bull's coming here, to understand that the wind's here. Like a coyote, they're going to be coming and trying to wind where they're hearing that call. You know, especially in a case where you're using a bugle, they're definitely wanting to, you know, size up who they're going about to whoop, you know, or get whooped by. And so when you know those things and it all comes together, that's going to give you the ability, even though you might not be by the experienced guide like you are, because you can't hold everybody's hand. You're not going to be right there. And a lot of times you need that separation of 50 to 80 yards. So checking that and knowing when to move and when to be aggressive. And when I say that, it might be move 10 yards, it might be, you know, sprint up 30 yards based on an angle. So I think the biggest thing I learned, I would tell somebody, don't go elk hunting with a whitetail mindset. Go with a turkey mindset, and realizing that you're working angles, you're manipulating with calls, you're manipulating a herd by trying to get an angle and cut them off and sit still and let the cows get by. You're using the wind, and so don't freeze up. Don't freeze up. I think that's what most people do. There'll be a bull come in bugling, he's right here, and they're thinking like whitetails, and he's just, and they're just like, if I don't move, he won't see me.
Right.
Well, you know, you need to get your eyes over, and as soon as he makes any bit of mistake, you get that bow back and get air stuck in him. Mm-hmm. And so many times, I know you'll see people, it's like, God, I had him, I don't know what happened. It's like, you didn't shoot him. Like, well, I couldn't, he was looking at me. He's like, you know, that you probably could have got around and shot him. You froze, you know, and so it's easy. But when you got 700-pound, you know, elk blowing snot on you, it's hard to move.
That's probably one of the biggest things I've told people is that, okay, so understand, you didn't move and that animal walked off, right?
Yeah.
Well, if you move and you draw back on that animal, one or two things are going to happen. Either you're going to get a shot or he's going to blow up and go off.
That's right.
Which is the same result with the first one. At least you have an opportunity.
You still got a 56% chance at least coming in full draw and getting a shot.
That's right.
Yeah, stepping out by the tree. That was the first thing I remember going when I was even a camera guy videoing that. I mean, I would get me some clippers and I'd be clipping in the bush and hiding, and then I'd always have this terrible footage because I'm trying to video through a cedar tree. You know, and then I was videoing David Blanton. Yeah, Ryan. Yeah, what Ryan? I'd be videoing, and I'd look, and I was videoing David Blanton. I was the first guy helping with. I couldn't even find David. And one time there was a 340 bull in Arizona. I think it rubbed the cedar bushes in and couldn't get a shot because he was in it. And so I learned step on the front side, use a background, don't move drastically, but. You know, you're just a human-like stick to them, and if you don't move and do nothing abrupt, they will accept it and come on, especially if you're in the shadows. And so it took me a lot of years to experience to get past that, and that is what I see first-time elk hunters do. They just freeze up, and they're very intimidating animals. And but get aggressive and go in and
you have to create your opportunities.
You do. Elk especially, and Tom. And I think that was what was fun with Tom this morning. Tom, these bulls work pretty good calls, but we were able to get and push Tom. Like, Tom, you know, I was calling some. Robert's a great caller. I said, look, push in there. He said, man, that's just, I can't get in there. They're going to see me. I said, so what? There's 4 over here bugling. Get in there. Mm-hmm. And, dude, he went on in there, and me and Robert flanked him and just called, and he kept going. He'd look back like, go here. I mean, and Tom's as good a hunter as I've ever been around.
Right.
But, again, he hadn't done a ton of elk hunting, and he finally got right in there, and he's like, oh, my gosh, that was just insane. And it was just like he was elated to know that. It's almost like I wished I'd have went back now and can hunt the next 4 days, because, you know, went without saying, I bet you he probably looks back like, you know, if I'd have just pushed on in when Robert was calling 30 yards, 40 more yards there, because you can get every 10 yards you can cut off and get that angle right. You're helping the odds for yourself and what you're trying to accomplish.
Robert's a young guy. Did he like that? Did he like what you guys did?
He did. And Robert's an excellent caller. He's got a lot of confidence in his calling, and we were talking about that, and I said, man, Robert, I think we can get in there. Them bulls in the frenzy. Let's get up in there and just walk in there and try to kill one. And I think both were skeptical, but it worked, and we really had it going on, and it was fun. And to hear Robert call, he was just a great elk caller and stuff. And I like that because that's where my roots. I like calling game, and so now it was fun. It's like Tom said, it was a fun morning.
Well, you said something though that I'd never heard or even thought about before, and it's probably because of the end that I come in on all of this. But you said, "Don't think like a whitetail hunter, think like a turkey hunter."
Yeah,
I ain't never heard that before, and with all the whitetail guys that I deal with, that might be something to bring up. And what do you mean by that?
I think it's like fishing. Elk's angles and manipulation, and whether you can actually stop a bull in his tracks and make him turn to come back where he came from to investigate a cow that he thought he missed, or a fight, or the herd, that whatever this illusion is, you as callers. And then you hunt with all across the country. Every elk hunter is different in a guide. So 90% of the time, if you elk hunt, the best success is going to do it in twos. When either a guide or a duo. If tomorrow y'all had tags, I would feel confident enough to say I could help you guys fill your tag if I was with y'all, by giving y'all that opportunity for me to call and for y'all to be on the attack and be the coyote and to understand the angle that they're coming, because those bulls, getting in close, a lot of times, if they do come to call, they're looking right at you. Well, turkey's the same way. Mm-hmm. You can be working a turkey with his Merriam Eastern. If he's right here or in Kansas, he might not want. He's working. He's gobbling, but he ain't into it right there. You can change that angle by 50, 60, 100 yards, or maybe get within a certain distance of him. Maybe get 20 yards closer, and it just trips his trigger. And once that trigger is tripped, it's a kamikaze. And elk are the same way, even in a herd, and vice versa. So it's same with fishing. If you really look at fishing, they don't call it fishing. It's really called angling. He does it's angling. So same with Eric does a bunch of marlin fishing, and he can drag it past a million different ways. When that angle's just right, bite on. And I think elk is very much that way. So when I'm hunting with guys like y'all, I honestly become so confident, because when I'm hearing y'all calling and hearing how that bull's reacting, I'm thinking I'm about to do them a favor, and I can hear what they're doing, and then most of the time you guys are watching and hearing, and you're trying to pull the bull at that angle right by us if you're sitting still. But if you get on the same page and understand the angles and understand what's happening, I think there's a lot you can get away with hunting in a tandem and 2 and 3 people, and where you can't do that whitetail. I mean, they're going to pick you alive. You're going to be up there by yourself, and that's what's cool about elk hunting. It's just like turkey hunting a turkey that can smell, and you can take a lot of different approaches. You can be very aggressive with your calling. You can manipulate, create illusion, and I think it's the ultimate thing to hunt, because you're always on the offensive. Unless you're sitting in a water hole and you're not sure what's coming, it's an offensive approach. So it kind of gives you an opportunity to be a Navy SEAL, to where you're getting after him, and he's making noise. Does he have cows? Is he by himself? Is he aggressive bull? Is he dominant? Should I come in here with a bugle, or just manipulate him with a sexual cow call and his desire to breed? I mean, all of that in that lingo and that conversation that you have, it's just phenomenal. And I don't know, usually you're breathing hard, you're going up a hill and you're tired. I don't know, it's just, when you finally connected, it's just like, I don't know, nirvana. It's such a cool deal.
And Eric, I've noticed how much you've learned from just the time that I've been out with you 2 years ago, because, you might have made that cameraman mistake, or like you were talking about you did when you were getting behind stuff. But man, I've seen you really make sure you have good shooting lanes.
Every time now. I've been in a situation where I didn't set myself up for success at all. And like everyone said, you taught me this, but if a bull is moving and you stay in the shadows, they don't see very good. Mm-hmm. But if he stopped and he's staring at you, you're not in the shadows, you're going to get busted. Yeah. Well, that makes it even funner to hunt, Yeah. Makes you think about it. A lot of times, it is. I mean, just what Michael said, there is so many things you can do to change, and I watched you do it this week. I watched Chance do it the other day. Make one little change, and we had a 360 bull looking at us the other day in a horse pasture. ripping a tree, and we both wanted to see him come to us. We could have got down the creek, went another 35 yards, and shot this bull. But it's that excitement and adrenaline of seeing these animals react to these calls is amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's the reason a lot of us do this. It's that beating them at their own game, right, Chance?
Exactly.
You know?
It was like Michael's bull. He's talking about angles. We were calling that bull, and Michael was up in front of me about, 30, 40 yards. And it was perfect in the bottom of this canyon down here. There was a draw, and a tree line kind of came down in there, and I was in the trees, and Michael was up in the front a little bit. And this bull comes from the bottom and up across and came up on top of a little ridge and started coming in. And I thought he was going to try and circle up around above these guys. So I dropped to the bottom, made 2 cow calls, and here he dropped right down in front of you guys. And that's just
It changed, and it was funny because it was kind of cool. Me and Chance was bumping chests because we both read it exactly the same, because Chance didn't know it. As Chance was moving, I felt what was happening, so I sprinted up another 40 yards to cover what I thought was about to happen, because we didn't have, and he did this, so it was like
it worked
perfect musical chairs. As I moved up to cover what I thought was about to happen, otherwise the bull was about to suck past me close, but in a not a good, there's a thicket, and about the same time Chance come down, I went up, and this bull, was about to come by at 25, 30 yards, and so it just, I don't know, it's the funnest thing ever.
Yeah, to realize, and that's to realize that you're not in the best position for an opportunity, and then make that change. That's what most people have to understand.
Yep.
You get locked in and become stagnant. You got to be dynamic out there.
Yeah, I agree.
It
Can't lock in.
No, you
you
can't
got to be
lock
ready to, adjust for sure.
And when that's what's so cool though, is when you're a caller and you have a shooter, and both of you understand that and comprehend that, that caller's going to do what they can to try to get that animal to stay in coming in correctly. But for that shooter to realize, okay, all right, this is where they told me to be, but man, the way they're moving, I'm getting ready to hit my downwind, or I'm not going to have a shot opportunity, and to make that change. Because again, that result is going to be the same thing if you stay put and that animal goes by without you seeing them, as if you moved, and let's say they do blow you up, right? But you are giving yourself an opportunity, and you have to do that.
To know that if this doesn't happen, I'm not going to get an opportunity, and try to get to that point. You got to be able to do that. Otherwise, I think that's the difference in getting a shot or sometimes going home empty-handed is, kind of making an opportunity. And if you can read what your guide's doing in your call, and then, knowing the wind, like I said, them little puff bottles, man, you'll go through one a day, because you can bet wherever that caller's at, if a bull is biting, even a nonchalant, non-pressure bull, he's coming to that wind. Well, if you're not in the right situation, if he wins you before he wins the caller,
right,
it's over. So you've got to put yourself in position to shoot him before he can get to this point. And it literally could take a 40-yard sprint on the hunter to just run through a meadow, just sprint to get to this pine tree in the nick of time to make that opportunity. But you can't sit there and well, maybe he'll just turn. No, I can about guarantee he's going to do exactly what they do every time. And so when you can read that makes the difference for sure.
So Chance, what would you say, to give something to these people out there, what would you say were some of your most, because this week has been a tough week. It's been hot, right? Finally we started getting some cool mornings, and that's when the bulls were lighting up. Afternoons, what have they been like, Eric? What have the afternoons been like for us, man?
Nature walks. A lot of hiking. Yeah.
But it's been kind of slow in the afternoons. Water has finally started to become a prime type thing because of that heat. But in this situation, because we're where it should be hotter than heck. I mean, as far as the animals being hot, not hot outside. I mean, we're right on the equinox, right? So it should be cranking out there. But everything's kind of been a little bit delayed out here, what we've seen. What have been some of the most effective strategies and calls for you this week?
It's been tough. Early season, whenever you got bulls searching, looking for cows, especially early season, you can kind of get in there, slip in 100, 150 yards from a good bull and cow call and suck them in. But the more the year or the month goes on, getting closer to the equinox, you're getting bulls that are with cows and trying to suck bulls off of cows now. And when you're out here trying to kill herd bulls, it's not the easiest thing in the world to do, to suck them herd bulls off them cows. And so you just got to position yourself and give yourself the best opportunity to call that bull in the right direction.
Yeah.
And, you know, this bull that Michael had right here that we just killed yesterday, he had some cows and he was going up a ridge, and we went and set up, and I cow called a few times and he bugled a few times, and he was still working up the ridge, and I just thought, you know, we're gonna have to go across the meadow.
Yeah, I really thought that too.
And have to go with them up to their bed and maybe suck him in off his bed. And I just decided,
During the middle of the day, right?
Yeah. And so
Yeah, maybe, yeah.
I just decided, I thought, you know what, I'm just gonna get him pissed. And so I just threw a challenge bugle right back at him, and he stomped me in the ground with it. And then I lip balled over the top of him, and that's all it took. Started raking a tree, and he came in on a string.
But
And
what if he didn't? What if you threw that challenge bugle out there and he didn't rip it back at you? He didn't escalate like that. What would have been your next route? Because a lot of guys are like, well, I challenge him, and then they start going with the cows, man.
Yep.
What would have been your next step after that?
So if he would have turned and just kept going up the ridge with his cows, we would have got quiet across the bottom, let him settle down a little bit. They were going to go, we knew where they're going to bed, on top of a bench right there. And we slipped into about 100, 150 yards from him, and threw a couple cow calls out, thinking that there's a couple lost cows coming up the ridge, and he's going to have to circle back and pick them up to go bed with them.
There you go. That's awesome. That's giving somebody a strategy right there.
Yep.
Because you're taking that temperature of that animal.
Exactly.
So you do that challenge out there, he comes back. Oh,
Yep.
now you know
It's
you're in
on.
the money, right?
Yeah, it's on.
It's on.
Well, one thing I'll tell you something, and it's talking about turkey hunting that applies. One of my old turkey hunting heroes, he's still alive, Preston Pittman. He was a world champion turkey caller, won the Grand Nationals, won every turkey calling contest you can call. And somebody asked him about turkey calling. I said, I ain't never been turkey calling. So I go turkey hunting, and sometimes I use my turkey call to help me. And so every time you sit down to call a bull, I don't think you're going to call a bull. But you can use that, and you can see maybe they're biting on a long-range cow call or even a little faint bugle. Well, that can give you the opportunity to get that angle. You say, okay, it's pretty obvious. I see the saddle. And then there comes maybe the Cameron Haynes moment to where the personal trainer kicks in like, the wind's blowing right here.
We got to hustle.
The call helped you understand the angle again. Right. And it's a mad sprint to get to that pocket or that little ambush point. And then it becomes, it was like the Nez Pierce and Chief Joseph's son when they ambushed the soldiers. They had the position, and you can create that. And at that point, with a good wind, knowing that the thermals are usually going to start pulling with the sun, you're talking about a beautiful setting. But you didn't really call them in, but you located them, and you just sat there. I've had some beautiful hunts where it wasn't an intense bull looking for me. The cows are clicking by, and I'm sitting here blended in, wind's right, just don't breathe, don't move. And when those cows get by and you can just hear, you ain't called them in. But he screwed up by answering your call an hour ago.
Exactly.
Down in the meadow, and he told you too much. So I think that's kind of what he was talking about. And like I said, if he does get by, you still got the opportunity to come manipulate him in the bed. But like I said, it just gives me chills thinking about what I just said. I mean, that's a whole nother moment of elk hunting. It's just hairy, because you're sitting there at this point, you're not calling, you're just like, please, I got this bull. He's coming behind these cows within 40-yard window. Yep. And so that's probably as tense to me as a bull coming to the call. Whew, angle.
Well, that's awesome, man. And guys, thank you for doing this with me today. I think this is super. We have a great representation of, and it's funny, when we looked at doing this podcast, you had to look at the team effort, and we wanted all the team to be here, people to meet you guys, everybody involved, and understand that, we're all just hunters. And, you get that brotherhood out there, that sisterhood out there. You share those moments, you share those memories, and you do something special that you're never going to forget. And that's what it means to all of us. So thank you very much for being here today. I hope everybody that's listening gets a chance to pick something up from this, because there's a lot of information. There's some chunks, there's some tidbits, and a lot of good advice out there. So for everybody that's listening on this, whether it's this hunt this year or it's this hunt next year, We want to wish you the best of luck. We hope you share it with special people and make some special memories just like we have this week. And I look forward to this happening again, y'all.
Thank you, Joe.
Thank you.
Appreciate
All
it,
right.
buddy.
Yep.
Y'all take care.
Good work, boys. That sounds really good, man.
Thank you very much.
Oh, thank
Thank
you,
you
Joe.
very much.
Appreciate you having us on, man.
Let's go do it.